That receipt back there looks a little wrong.
Hey! What's good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me. As always, the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles, are making moves. Big moves. When picked up Tremaine Edmonds. When picked up DJ Moore. We know about that. They're continuing to stack. When picked up TJ Edwards. When picked up Nate Davis. They're making moves. This is just the start of it. We're going to talk about the Bears, what they got going on. What's the next play for Poles and the Bears? We will talk about that. Aaron Rodgers. Nick flat out plainly thinks this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Thinks this guy's a jerk.
Terrible.
He thinks this guy's a jerk. There's no other way to put it.
Yes.
There's no other way to put it. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers because I kind of tend to disagree. Or I see it a little different.
Hey, of course.
I see it a little differently.
Oh, my God.
I see it a little differently than Big Nick the Quick. We're going to talk about the rest of the deals. Jimmy G goes out to the Las Vegas Raiders. Mike White, little $8 million per to go down to Miami. I think that's a little sneaky, interesting deal. I don't know what it means. I want to talk to Nick about that. And of course, we'll talk about the latest right now as we record. Mavs are playing the Grizzlies. We got the Suns and Warriors later tonight. So we'll break it all down. You already know what time it is. No catch up. Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get to it.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
The Quick, what's good? You still in Alabama?
Man, I came back home for a couple of days. Had to come back out. I'm actually in Pensacola, Florida right now, which is on the Panhandle.
Okay.
But I was in Alabama earlier, in between Mobile and a couple other places. Man, give me a little tour of the South.
I'm glad.
Hey, the weather's decent. We were talking about earlier. The weather's decent, so I can't really complain. It's 68 and sunny today.
I'm packing it up. I'm going to Miami tomorrow. I got to get out of town. It's supposed to snow. I got a couple days off the show. I'm out of here.
The forecast, you're saying I got to get out.
I'm gonna go down. I might even catch the World Baseball Classic.
Oh wow!
That's how.
Have you watched?
I'm gonna even bring a couple books.
Have you watched an inning of the World Baseball Classic?
I haven't watched too much.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't tuned in.
Doesn't really tickle.
It never moved.
Tickle my interest really.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it, man. Chicago Bears making moves. Ryan Poles. This is. I want to get this off my chest right out of the way. This is exactly why you don't win games in the regular season when you have no business winning them. But we don't want Justin Fields not winning games. Justin Fields is going to get used to losing. You sounded like an idiot then, and now you look like an idiot right now because this is the type of payoff you get when you don't win games for no reason and you tank like you're supposed to have a bottom of the barrel draft pick so you could then get a haul back like Ryan Poles went out and did. 2 1s, 2 2s, and DJ Moore, number 1 wide receiver in the NFL.
Wait, say that again. A number 1 wide receiver in the NFL.
You don't believe this either. You're a doubter as well.
Oh, no. I'm
you're saying that we have one.
No, listen. I'm co-signing.
No doubt.
Going,
yeah. It's a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, DJ Moore. If you took his years with Carolina with no quarterback, I believe he would be the third. He'd have the third most receptions in Bears history behind Matt Forte and Walter Payton. And those guys don't even play wide receiver.
Yep.
You understand me?
Yep.
This is a massive, massive pickup. Now, we still got a long way to go. But the guys that we're stacking up are young studs. Tremaine Edmonds is 24. DJ Moore is 25. Both seasoned vets. Edmonds been to the Pro Bowl. Productive players, and now you could call them young veterans.
Absolutely.
Tremaine's been to the Pro Bowl twice.
Yep.
At linebacker out in Buffalo. So that's a massive get. It makes me feel 10 times better than losing Roquan Smith because Roquan is going to continue to be a difference maker for years to come. How you feeling about everything overall? This is the first time we talked on Wax since the number one got dealt.
Yeah, I think we had that. We did the pod, and the next day the number one was dealt. So we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So let's start at the very beginning. Look, man, everything you said is what I've been saying all year, right? We said this one thing mattered this past season for the Chicago Bears. We had to see that Justin Fields was an NFL quarterback. Don't talk to me about the passing statistics. Don't talk to me about all that. Just tell me what you saw with your eyes. And you and I both agreed that Justin Fields is an NFL quarterback. Okay, cool. You got your guy, right? I don't care about the record. I don't care about how the defense performed. I don't care about how many fourth quarter leads we blew. I don't care about any of that. All I cared about was, okay, is Justin Fields our guy, and is he going to develop? So we saw that, right? We checked those boxes. Then you get to the offseason. You get this number one pick, right? You and I, again, both agree we don't want to move on from Fields for Stroud or Young or Richardson or Levis or any of these guys, right? Fields is our guy, so what are you going to do with this number one pick? When you look at the fact that, yeah, I was obviously going hard for my man from Alabama, and he's probably not going to be available at number 9, right? I really did want to come away from this draft with a superstar. But if you tell me the alternative to that is we only move back to 9, which is still going to get us an impact player as long as we draft right. We grab another pick for next year. We grab 2 more second-round picks, and we get a top wide receiver who's young and on a good contract. Remember about DJ Moore, that guaranteed money and signing bonus stuff, that's with Carolina. So I think his cap hit for us is like $14 million. And if you look at some of these deals that wide receivers have been getting, that's an awesome contract, right? So you look at that, you look at the fact that we got all those draft picks, we got a bona fide number one guy to make Justin Fields better. Then you fast forward to today, and on the first day of free agency, it seems like Poles already had his guys picked out that he wanted, moved on 2 different linebackers, right? Both of them coming from winning teams. I understand the dude from the Eagles might not have been a marquee name, but I think my man's had 160 tackles on one of the best defenses in the NFL. So clearly he was good and he could play, right? He was a productive player coming from a good defense. You look at Tremaine Edwards, another good player coming from a really good situation. Then you add an offensive guard, the dude from the Titans. Man, this is what we wanted, right? This is what we wanted. We wanted Poles to have a plan to fill some of these holes that we need, and there's still more to come. We still have the draft to get to. So I'm ecstatic. I love it. I love that he has a plan. I love that he's addressing our needs. I don't want to hear about, Edwards $18 million, but you didn't want to play Roquan $20 million. We fit 2 linebackers into that Roquan contract. We got Edwards and this dude from the Eagles. The NFL is about depth. We got that, and you still have the draft to go. So now if you're him, you're looking at the draft, you're saying, cool, I don't have to overspend on linebacker. I don't have to overspend on wide receiver. You are really in a situation where you can come to number 9 and say, I'm going to take the best player available. And that's the spot that you want to be in. So I'm happy.
Ecstatic. This is
what else do you want?
We're just getting started too. Tremaine Edwards runs a 4.5, by the way, like a high 4.5, sideline to sideline guy. He was rated the best coverage linebacker per PFF. This is a guy you want on your football team. Now, then we go and sign another guard to go with Cody Whitehair, who's been our best offensive lineman for quite some time now. So,
the guy who started 55 games, this dude that we got from Tennessee.
Yeah, Nate Davis. So another thing too on Tremaine Edmonds, he has missed not many games since he came into the league. I want to say he's missed. I had it written down here. 1 second. 6 games in 5 years. So he plays. I'm over the moon. I'm very excited about DJ Moore. I'm very excited about seeing a step up this year, and then next year having that Panthers pick is going to be top 10. I'm telling you right now.
Absolutely. It should be top 5.
So we potentially have a spot where we can have 2 top 15 picks next year. We're going to be a 500 ball club, maybe a little short, but we're going to have guys. I'm just excited about stacking up young talent. All these guys are mid-20s. DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmonds, Nate Mooney, Davis. Justin Fields, Nate Davis. They're all 23, 24, 25 years old. Stack them up, and let's see where we shake. Now, you were reading there was some flack on the Edmonds signing. Too much
just
money?
Like some guy I saw was saying, hey, he's nervous about $18 million a year for a guy who's not great up against the run. And Listen, man, I get it, right? That's a valid concern. But to your point, he's 24 years old, 25 years old. He runs a 4.5, and he's coming into a situation with a head coach in Eberflus who has taken linebackers before and taken them to that next level. See Darius Leonard. You guys heard of him, right? Super productive player under Matt Eberflus. So I'm not worried about that. Also, you're coming to a situation with the defensive head coach. He knows what type of guys that he wants. So I don't, again, just like the Roquan deal didn't get done without Eberflus signing off on it, this deal doesn't happen without Eberflus signing off on it. And I trust what he's going to do with that defense. So I don't think he would make this deal if he had those type of questions about that guy or if he felt he could get a better linebacker at a different price. It was clear that like this was a day one immediate signing for the Bears. So yeah, I trust what's going on in the building, and that's the first time I could say that in a really long time. And also, again, I can't real quick, I can't overstate how much flexibility that gives you with these draft picks. Right? Knocking the wide receiver off, knocking the linebacker off means those are two positions that teams can overspend on, right? You get desperate for wide receivers, you start reaching. You get desperate for linebackers, you start reaching, right? We don't have to reach at those positions. So the more positions that we can take off our board where we're worried about and we feel like we might have to make a reach for, the better. Reach at left tackle, right? Reach at those positions. Reach at your premier positions. We don't need to be reaching for inside linebackers and wide receivers at this point in time. So I love the DJ Moore deal. I love the Edmonds deal. I love getting another productive linebacker from the Eagles. That's huge. The guy had 150 tackles on one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Well,
and was a starter.
One thing we talk about all the time too is you got to score points in this league. You got to throw the rock. If your team doesn't throw the ball, you're not winning anything. That's just what it is. You're not going to run your way to the Super Bowl unless I guess you're the Eagles, and it's an absolutely different type of running offense, but they can still throw the ball.
They can still throw the ball when they needed to.
They went and got A.J. Brown. They made an impact on that side of the rock as well. But T.J. Edwards and Tremont Edmonds are two really great coverage linebackers. Some of the best in the NFL. So if they could go out and cover guys and we solidify another ad at corner, Brisker continues to take that next level step at the safety spot. We add some defensive linemen. Now we solidify the trenches. Everything starts to look even tougher than it is. I think it's going to be, regardless as a Bears fan, it's going to be a lot of fun the next couple years.
Yep.
And we're exactly where we wanted to be 2 years ago. When me and Nick were on here begging them to fire Poles or fire Pace and Nagy, it was all to just get to this spot a year earlier. We're here now, but we took a little extra time, but we're here now and we're ready to go. What do you think the next play should be? You said you wouldn't reach. You wouldn't go get Jackson Smith and Jigba from
well, if you like him, what I'm saying, I don't know how they evaluate him, right? So if you like him at 9, for sure, right? But before, you were in a position that if you didn't necessarily love him at 9 or wherever you were still going to have to reach for him. Right now, you're saying, okay, we don't necessarily need to reach for who we think is the best receiver or whatever it is, because we have a guy who A, has been productive in the NFL with no quarterbacks, and B, plays exactly how Justin Fields likes, right? So I don't think you necessarily have to reach there. It just allows you to take, the Bears have been in the best player available position, but there were positions that they needed that, again, they might reach on, and wide receiver was absolutely one of them. You did it with the Chase Claypool trade, so you did already show some desperation at wide receiver there. I think getting DJ Moore, now you look at Moore, Mooney, Claypool, Kmet, and you're like, okay, that's a lot better than what it looked like before, so we're not as desperate. So to me, you take the best player possible. As far as the Nate Davis thing, I think that, again, people are talking about like, oh, this guy's the 15th best guard in the league, the 20th best guard in the league. Offensive lines are units, right? So you take a guy who's solid like that, 15 to 20 is solid, right? When you think about how many guards and stuff play in the NFL, there's 60 guys who start, right? So you're talking about a guy who's 50-20. That's in the top third of guards in the NFL. You add some more talent on there, all of a sudden you have a unit. You have a solid unit, and that's what we haven't had over the last couple of years. So if I'm the Bears, it starts there. It's the defensive and offensive line. Same thing I've been saying all year, but that's how you build your football team. And I think that signing a guy like that, again, it's kind of your first guy, means then you don't have to reach a guard. So I love all the moves. Go get some guys in the trenches. Go get offensive linemen. Go get defensive linemen. Solidify those positions and draft the best guys available. I don't know about Buddy from Georgia though. Decision making is interesting.
So they also a report just came out. They're going to move Tevin Jenkins from tackle to guard.
Great.
So Cody Whitehair might be a cut. I'm looking at the cap hit right now, $14.1 million.
Haven't they tried Whitehair at center before and it wasn't great?
For 2023. That's interesting because they added guard, then they announced that Jenkins is going to move to guard. If potentially Whitehair could get cut. So that's an interesting dynamic as well. We'll see if they think he's worth $14 million against the number. But
that's fine. Jenkins came on strong second half of last year. Remember, there were some questions going into camp, how he was going to fit. Was this guy going to be traded? Was he going to be cut? I think he came on strong towards the end of the year. Those are the type of guys you want, so I'm cool with that. Again, the biggest thing is this. I trust these guys.
Yeah.
I really trust these guys. I don't think the ego is in the way of the last regime. The last regime was so fucking marinating in ego that they couldn't make a right decision. Like these guys, this guy Poles, they're just making moves.
Folks look like he got a plan. Folks got a plan.
You signed 3 guys on day one. You signed 3 guys on day one. You still have cap space and a bunch of think about Poles' last 4 days.
Yeah, he's been locked in.
He's been on the phone.
He's been on the
working.
phone.
He worked hard this weekend. Doesn't know her. Isn't there.
Ain't seen it. Haven't seen his wife. Hasn't seen his kids.
Making moves.
But
this is what you want, right? Hey, this is what you want. Like every GM would want to be in this position where you pretty much got a blank slate, and you got a quarterback that you believe in. Because he told us he believed in the quarterback. Remember that he had every chance. If he didn't believe in Fields, right?
Yeah, he
had every opportunity to move off of him. He could have drafted a new quarterback and reset himself for 4 years.
Let me ask you this. So we got a plethora of draft picks nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
What if Baltimore came knocking on the door?
No.
No? Couldn't do it?
Yeah, I like Justin Fields. Lamar's a better player right now, but I don't think we're a Lamar.
I think he's a young Justin. I think he's a young Lamar Jackson.
Probably with more throwing upside.
Sincerely.
And less of the things you don't necessarily love about Lamar, right? Like we like Lamar, man, but you saw Justin Fields' suit versus Lamar's suit on draft day. I told you what it was. Not Lamar, man.
Nah, Nick telling people to read between the lines. This is crazy.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna get into Lamar, but yeah, listen, I'm good with Fields. I'm confident in Fields. Listen, the Bears have had games where we put up 30+ points.
Yeah,
we've been here a long time. We haven't seen 30+ points. Been here a long time.
I think we're in the best.
Don't give me passing stats.
We're in the best possible position we could be in.
And don't let this man start throwing that thing.
No, don't let this man Poles pick a couple superstars in the draft.
Yeah, don't hit at 9.
Don't let him hit at 9, like for real hit. Don't let him do that. I'm telling you, dude.
Don't let him get it. Don't let him get some double-digit sack guy. Don't let him get some foundational left tackle. Don't let him get somebody who keeps Justin Fields upright or again puts pressure on offenses via the defensive line. Again, that's what I'm saying. You have knocked off some of these other needs to where you can be like, yo, this is that guy that I want to take at 9.
Yeah. You think the next play needs to be a defensive lineman. That's what I think.
Defensive or offensive lineman.
I think defensive lineman is first.
It's cool, but you also want to get the guys that block those guys. I'm fine either way.
Sure.
I get you, but offensive line is not a glamour position, but when you have good ones, guess what? You don't think about it. Ever. When you have bad ones, you think about it on every single play.
Yeah.
You could have the best play caller in the history of the world come up there. Said it before, I'm gonna say it again. I've never seen a quarterback play from their back.
I don't know, man. You got Andy Reid.
And Patrick Mahomes can't play from his back. Patrick Mahomes is also a magician.
They didn't have any sacks, dude. That was the best defensive line the NFL has seen in quite some time. But yes, I know.
What do we say about Mahomes?
Yeah, we're not talking. Mahomes is different.
Mahomes is different. It doesn't matter who plays with Patrick Mahomes; they're winning ball games.
It's a different animal.
Yeah, you can lie to anybody. It's a different animal.
It's a different animal.
We no longer talk about Mahomes on this program for sake of comparison. So yeah, let it go. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So go either way. But yes, impact player on the front line. I would love to have the pass rusher. You know how I feel about elite pass rushers, but you also know how I feel about protecting the quarterback. So either way, you're going to be good. Both of them help out Justin Fields.
All right, let's talk about some of this quarterback carousel. Oh, no, which leads us, let's talk about the quarterback carousel, which leads us to Aaron Rodgers. Let's just get right to it, Big Nick.
Yeah, he's an asshole, man. Listen, dude.
Go ahead.
We're now going on, what is this, 3 straight off seasons in which Aaron Rodgers is just loving the fact that he can hold teams hostage, right? So much so that now he's holding teams hostages that he doesn't even play for. This man knows what he's going to do next year. I think we all know what he's going to do next year. And it's going to be go to the New York Jets. First off, I think there's 0 chance this guy retires. Side note, hats off to the Packers or what's his face? What's the guy's name?
Mark
Murphy. For coming out the other day and pretty much saying, like, yeah, we're done. Hey, it's a great career. It's been a great ride. But we're done with this guy, right? Like, shout out to them for finally saying we're going to move on and not dealing with this again. And we have to just get forward with our team. If you know you're going to New York, right?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of all this? What's with the drama?
So let me ask you this.
Let me just go. Hold on. What's the purpose of all this? What's with the drama? What are you gaining from having everybody sit around and wait for you to make a decision that you have probably already made? What changes between, at first it was like, hey, when he comes out of the darkness retreat, he's going to have an idea of what's going on. That was 3 weeks ago. I've been in 3 states since he came out the darkness retreat. Do you understand? I think actually 4. 4 states I've been through since my man's came out the dark. I have made many a decision since he has made this decision that he probably knew at the beginning of the year what he was going to do. All it tells me is that this dude just wants everybody to line up every offseason and tell him how much they want him and fawn over him and make him be the subject of discussion. Aaron, what can we do for you? Just like last year, I might retire. I might go somewhere else. It's a beautiful mystery. No, I just want $57 million guaranteed this year. That's it. This dude just likes the drama, man. I don't understand what you're doing. And it's at the detriment of whatever team you go to because they're in a holding pattern until they decide what they're going to do with you. The Jets can't make any moves. The Jets can't make any moves. If this dude retires, the Jets are going to be like, wow, we missed out on Carr, Garoppolo, everybody.
You want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
He wants to stick it to Green Bay. He doesn't fucking like the Green Bay Packers front office. He despises them. So anything he can do to make it tough on them, he's going to do. He already got his deal. Now he's just trying to be an asshole to them. And honestly,
he's being an asshole to the Jets.
Well, they're going after him. He's not. You can't think about being an asshole to the Jets and to the Packers.
So you understand you're describing an asshole right now. So I'll let you know everything you're describing right now.
No.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is he doesn't. When you don't like someone and you hold the chips and the power, you make it hard on them. That's the way the world works. He doesn't like Mark Murphy and those guys. He actually really doesn't like them. So I'll get back to y'all when I get back to y'all because y'all need me to win. All right? Let's not forget that. Y'all not going to win as many games without me as you would with me. Let me remind you guys of that. So I'll hold you guys hostage for a little bit, and then I'm probably going to end up taking off. Now, this is my question for you, Nick. And
they don't want him back, so I mean, I don't understand. Like, they don't want him back.
But what if he says he wants to come back? Then what?
I don't know.
Then what?
I don't know.
Then I guarantee you, the next press conference is glad to have Aaron back. Let's try to make another run.
I think these guys are done.
Now, I actually talked about this option too. Well, let me ask you this, just because I don't really, I got home. I set up, and then I'm talking to you right now. I was thinking about this on the train on the way home. And I haven't seen anything or talked to anybody about this. If they're done with him, Nick, why haven't they moved him yet? What are we waiting on?
Because it's just because if they can't trade him somewhere, he's just going to retire. He would retire.
No.
Move him from where?
They
can't release him because they have to eat like $60 million in cap space.
So that's my question. Yeah. So say they trade him to if they trade him to the Jets and he retires, the Jets are caught holding the bag with picks, or it gets reversed, Or what happens there?
What are the Jets? No, why would if you're the Jets, why would you give up any asset for Aaron Rodgers if he's not going to come play for you or any other team? I should say for that.
No. What I'm saying is, what happens? Do you know? I'm. This is like an honest question.
Oh, if he just retires?
Yeah. Like, what if they made the deal and then he's like, I retired? Are the Jets out of their picks and shit, or how does that work?
Yeah, of course they're out of their picks. Yeah, you make the trade for them. They're out of whatever they trade him for sure.
And he retires. There's no protection from that.
No. They decide to trade for him. I think if that was the case, the Packers would be calling all over the place. They said, get this guy off my roster and let him figure it out somewhere else. And, whatever happens. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. They can't do anything until no one can do anything. He's holding 2 teams hostage, again, including one that he does not play for, until he makes a decision that he's probably already made. So at this point, if you want to
essentially
listen, if you
hold on. So we're waiting for him to decide if he's going to play next year. Oh, he's going to play next year.
That's all the report. Okay,
I would have packed him up and traded him already.
Yeah, no.
That's the other thing. What are we waiting on?
There's no one that there's no report anywhere that says he is mulling trying to go back to the Packers.
So what are we waiting on then?
Him.
No. But why then trade him?
You can't, because if you trade him and because if you're the Jets,
does he have a no trade clause?
This guy's an all-time weird. I think he might. Who knows? But this guy's an all-time. This guy's an all-time fucking weirdo. You might trade for him. He might decide, wait, I wasn't ready for that. Beautiful mystery. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that for a guy like this? He hasn't made the decision if he wants to play football next year.
He has, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. According to him, he hasn't.
Huh. So it's an interesting thing, right?
He has no trade clause?
It said, from what I just looked up, it says Rodgers doesn't have a no trade clause.
He just has a massive cap hit. So I think the other thing is this. When you trade for him, you also have to renegotiate that deal. So that's another thing. You can't trade for him, take on that deal. They can't take on the deal as it currently stands. It's something Shefty was talking about it last week, but you can't. Something about that deal, like as soon as they trade for him, they have to rework that deal. They can't absorb that cap hit. If they did, they'd have to cut a bunch of guys.
You know what? So I think, okay. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about holding your new team hostage.
Well, what the answer is the reason the Packers can't move him is because no one will take him. Because they don't know.
Exactly.
So there's just no one out there until he comes out and says he wants to get moved.
Well, I don't think any other teams are making inquiries on it. I think they said the only team, it's either the Jets or nothing.
Yeah. He's going to the Jets.
Yes. So if that's the case, then why not just fucking go to the Jets and let them start planning a team around you? If your whole goal is to win, now I get it. I'm not doubting you about.
Mind you, this is the first day of free agency, by the way.
Right. But this has been going on for fucking 7 weeks.
Yeah,
since the Super Bowl.
Sure.
We've been talking about Rodgers to the Jets since they got out the playoffs.
Yeah.
Listen. I get you're saying like he doesn't like Murphy and those guys and he wants to stick it to them. But if you're the type of person that you want to stick it to them so bad that, again, you're going to essentially hurt your chances to win a Super Bowl this year, which should be your ultimate goal, then that's what type of individual you are, and you're an asshole. That's like saying, hey, man, I hate my ex so much that I'm just fucking stick it to my new chick.
We know it's March, right, though?
Yeah, I understand.
First, come on. Like, you getting a little carried away.
We just talked about the Bears signing 3 guys. If you're the Jets and you're about to take on a $50 million a year contract, you want to be able to start adding guys now. Guys aren't going to wait. That's the thing. That's how arrogant guys are going to. Maybe he thinks guys are going to wait. I don't know. This guy won a Super Bowl 20 years ago. This isn't Tom fucking Brady.
He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Come on, man. What did Draymond say to Paul Pierce?
So they don't love you like that?
You know, they don't love you like that. Come on, boy. Come on, man.
Okay.
This guy's ridiculous, bro. That's my whole thing about him being an asshole. What he's doing, it's not about the Packers shit. I understand why he's upset with the Packers.
Yeah.
But what he's now doing to the Jets is just, if you're done, you're done. Just go to New York, be the Jets quarterback, let them start adding pieces, and so you can win a fucking Super Bowl again.
But I understand, Rodgers. Nobody rushing me.
That's fine. Yeah, I get it.
But do you understand, Nick? But like, what? Why do I have to be in a hurry because people want me to be in a hurry?
Because you've already made your decision.
How do you don't know that?
You just said he's made his decision.
I'm saying I think he's going to the Jets.
This guy,
but that's just my opinion.
This guy is such a
you know what Green Bay
narcissistic
should do?
asshole. It's unbelievable.
You know what Green Bay should do? Jordan Love is the starting quarterback.
They've all but said it.
But say it.
They've all but said it. We start talking about people in the past tense.
Say
if I'm like, hey, Sean, I had a great podcast, man. It was awesome. I ran it. You probably assumed that I'm doing something else.
So they could do a couple things, which I think it's just an interesting situation. But I'm with Aaron. I'll pull up and tell y'all whenever I feel like it. I don't know if that's an asshole play. Nobody rushing me. Yeah. I've been in the league 20 plus years. I just came off 2 straight MVPs a couple years ago. I'll let y'all know.
How many more signs of this guy being an asshole do we need?
Hey, and if you don't want to do it, and if you don't want to wait, go ahead, suit up Zach Wilson. And that's funny. Wait, go ahead, suit up Zach Wilson, and then y'all go ahead about your business. You don't want to wait. You want to rush me? No problem. Go ahead, suit up Zach, and then good luck this year.
Can we come back to Zach in a minute?
If I'm gonna play for somebody. Somebody's gonna suit me up, and they're gonna suit me up for my number. So I'll let y'all know. That's he has that.
And that again, that's called being an asshole. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to do that, but it's called being an asshole. There's no other way around it that he's an asshole. I know you think he's the greatest cornerback you've ever seen. We get it, dude.
He's not an asshole.
You have an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
He's not an asshole for doing he's not an asshole for doing it how he wants to do. When he wants to do it.
When Brady was ready to leave Belichick, what do you do? So I'm gone. I'm out. This is over with. I'm going to Tampa Bay. There wasn't no fucking whole long thing like this.
You didn't call Brady an asshole when he retired and came back.
That wasn't an asshole. He retired for 2 weeks, so Ronaldo decided it was a bad idea.
You saw that divorce? I said, we gonna get a divorce? All right, I'm going back to the league.
I'm not figuring this out at home.
Oh, we getting the divorce?
You want to talk?
Oh, yeah. I'm going back to the league.
Exactly. That was an asshole of Brady. And I think no one ever believed that Brady was retired. And Brady handled it with class. Come on, Brady has, if anybody could be an asshole, it's Tom Brady. He got 7 of them and been there 10 times. This guy has 1 and been there 1 time, and I barely remember it.
This is personal with Nick.
Come on, man.
Everybody,
it's not personal.
It's personal with Nick.
That's the thing. It's not
this
personal,
man. This is the most
he's
player
an
first.
asshole.
This is the most player first podcast on the streets today.
Yeah, and this isn't player
and
first
for some
because
reason,
you're not putting other people. Come on, man.
You're saying
player first doesn't mean you have to be a selfish asshole. We gave it to LeBron 2 weeks straight on this podcast.
This is you're going off the premise. You're going off the premise that he for sure has made a decision when maybe he hasn't.
Then why tell everybody you're going to a fucking darkness retreat? See, that's what I'm saying. It's all the drama.
Did he tell everybody, or did they find out? How did they find out?
What do you mean? How would you find out? You went to a retreat in the middle of fucking nowhere. You only know that he told McAfee.
Oh, he did tell McAfee.
Forget everything he does. Everything he does is this. Then when you ask me about it, I don't know. But it's been like this for 3. How much longer can we deal with this? I was done after last year. I was done after he pretended and did all that bullshit with the Packers just to get a new deal. Now, I am Mr. Player. I'm Mr. Player, man.
I think this is a really interesting conversation. What if no one was asking about him? You think he would still be bringing it up? Because it is just everybody on his ass about it. Hey, where you going? Where you going?
God.
Where you going to sign?
Now we're doing
when the whole one.
You guys asked me. Come on.
When you going to sign? They are asking.
You're one of the most high-profile people on the planet.
So since I'm a high-profile quarterback and one of the best in the league, I got to make a decision right now.
No, since you're a high-profile quarterback and you make everything about you, and you mean to tell me you haven't made this life-altering decision yet? What do you think about in the darkness for 3 days? Do you see where he was?
No, you didn't answer my question.
Why do I have to make it? Because I'm a high-profile. Because
why can't
Because your decision impacts the new place that you will go, and if your number one goal, if you're at this point in your career, your only goal should be to win. There is nothing. You could never play football again. You're cemented.
Now, I'm with you on that piece because it is like, hey, if you are about getting another ring, it behooves you to wait longer. The sooner you commit, the better.
No, it doesn't.
So
it behooves you to sign right now. Like, yeah, yes.
Oh, yeah. My fault. Yeah.
The benefits. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it behooves you to
sign
sign right
today.
now. Yes.
Yes. So that we can start our bit. Cool. Hey, man, welcome to. Okay, go back to your darkness retreat. Now that we know that you're coming, whenever it is that you do show up, because we know you're not a big off-season guy. Okay, whatever. Do your thing. Go take your shrooms. Go find a new celebrity chick that you're going to date for 6 months, whatever the case might be, right? But let us start bringing in people. I can't stand this guy, dude. I can't. I really can't. And listen,
you hate this guy's guts.
I can't stand this guy, dude. I think he's a phony, dude. He's a phony.
Go date whoever you're gonna date for 6 months, you asshole. Then show up in a little bit.
But allow us to start our job, because literally, if you're in the Jets, you're in New York. If you're in the Jets office, you're literally sitting there like, we can't call any free agents, we can't commit any money, because you got to start cutting. Once he signs, you got to start cutting guys, restructuring guys, trading guys, figuring out what bargain guys you can sign. You change your whole strategy as an organization, because to your point, if you don't sign him, you have now missed out on all the starters. You are picking between, shout out my man, get a check, Jacoby Brissett, and a couple other guys. Mike White's not even in the building anymore. So you're really asked out. You're not going to start Zach Wilson, who it's crazy. A guy who was number 2 in the draft 2 years ago, your teammates are openly like pushing for you to get traded and burning cheese heads on Instagram and shit like that. So
has no friends on that team.
No friends on that team. That's like crazy.
Yeah.
Salah was done with him. But that's what you get. He sucked and then he made. You know what did him in was that what was it like? What the comment? Like, what could you change? Or what do you do? What do you say to him?
I think they
was
asked
your
him,
fault?
do you
take any blame?
No. Do you feel like you let the defense down? That was something. And he said no. So, what? You haven't scored any points in weeks.
You haven't scored in weeks.
So yeah. All right, let's talk about Jimmy G. Chicago guy. Gets another deal, coming off a big deal, is now part of the Las Vegas Raiders organization. 3 years, $67.5 million deal, $34 million guaranteed for Jimmy G. Where are you at on Jimmy G overall?
Yeah, I think it's
Is he better than Derek Carr?
No. God, no. I think Derek Carr and those Niners teams with that play calling and just that stability over there would have been a better player than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo is serviceable. He's a high-end backup, low-end starter, right? If you can game plan and put a good defense around him, he's not going to make mistakes, but you cannot ask him to go out there and win a game. When I first heard the number, I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. But then what do we always say? Outside of watch the film and outside of don't tell me who won, tell me who covered, we also say tell us the guaranteed money. And at 3 years, $34 million guaranteed, so that's probably $34 million in the first 2 years of that deal. 17 million per in cash, right? You probably give him 25 of that up front. You know what I mean? So next year he's on the hook for maybe 10, 12 million. It allows you, if you're the Raiders who are picking at 7, to take a swing on the kid from Florida if you really like him, right? Like when you have a quarter, because you don't necessarily need him to be, it pretty much puts Jimmy in the same situation he was coming into this year with Trey Lance.
With a different
spot. Hey, we have a guy last year, like, hey, we have a guy we don't really feel comfortable starting, but we're going to bring you in here and let you do your thing while we develop this guy who's probably not ready for the NFL. So when you look at the $34 million over 2 years on that deal, and again, with a lot of that cash coming in year 1, I have absolutely no problem with it. Again, when I first heard the number, I was like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. But when I saw only half the deal is really guaranteed, I like that deal. Now, how do I feel about a guy like Jimmy G, who we know likes to have a good time out in Las Vegas?
Jimmy G, man.
Yeah, shout out Jimmy G. I don't know if Vegas is the place for our boy, man, but shout out Jimmy G. I like Garoppolo. Cool. He'll be all right out there. So, yeah, I like the deal for all parties involved, for sure.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because they are a mediocre team with tons of offensive talent. They got to shore up the defensive side of the rock. But they still got a lot of offensive weapons with Jacobs. We know about Devontae Adams. Wall's still there. They got a lot of offensive talent. He's going to be solid there. Man, the Minnesota Timberwolves put up 76 points in the first half, by the way, on Atlanta.
Atlanta sucks.
I was looking at the team total. Team total for Minnesota.
That's good. That's good for you. That's good for you. Go Heat.
Yeah, go Heat, baby. I'm exposed on that. But yeah, shout out Jimmy G for getting that deal. Tons of offensive talent. I saw an interesting stat. Jimmy G, Derek Carr in the same span. Deep touchdown passes. Derek Carr 28. Jimmy G at 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Jimmy G can push it down the field. He's back with his old offensive coordinator from the Patriots, McDaniels. So should be interesting. I think that's a fair number. I know.
From Devontae, I'm not happy about that.
Well, no, because the only reason I was there is because of Carr.
Yeah, and like you said, Jimmy G does not air it out, and Devontae needs someone to throw him the deep ball, and that's not what Jimmy does.
That's all Derek was looking for. You really want to know. So that is
the intermediate throw was not his repertoire.
Yes, yeah, he was trying to go deep. So that's interesting. Maybe Devontae gets packed up.
He gave up so much for him. I mean, you already paid out so much cash in the first year of that deal.
Why didn't the Raiders try to go get Lamar?
We listened to our episode last week. You know exactly why the Raiders didn't go get Lamar. The same reason why nobody's going to go get Lamar, because the NFL is colluding against giving Lamar Jackson a contract. Lamar Jackson either plays for $32 million next year or doesn't play at all. You knew it. Listen, you knew it when there was the list of teams when they first signed the deal. And then the other day when they said no teams are going to go after Lamar Jackson. Come on. You have teams. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we laid it all out. We laid it out.
Listen. You remember when Durant was available this summer and said every team made an offer? Even teams who couldn't get him.
Yeah.
Get him. Why? Because you feel obligated to make an offer when Kevin Durant's on the market. When a 26-year-old former league MVP is on the market, I don't care if you know that he's asking for $800 million guaranteed. You still pick up the phone. You still say, yeah, we'd be. When you have teams like Atlanta saying we're not interested, Atlanta? Come on, man. Listen, come on. You still try. And then if he tells you, hey, I want $800 million, okay, cool, thanks, Lamar. And then it's out there, hey, Atlanta tried to reach out to him and didn't work. You mean to tell me unanimously the whole league said we don't want this guy? Come on. And then I heard today, he's really fucked. The no agent thing is actually fucking him because teams can't reach out to him until Wednesday. Because today you're allowed to reach out to agents, but you're not allowed to reach out to players till Wednesday. And because he's an agent, that's a player that's also his own agent, you can't call Lamar until Wednesday. So money's drying up left and right around this guy. Man, wow. What a situation. He will never play there.
If you did not listen to our episode last week, it's pinned to my profile, my Twitter, @ChicagoFlow. It is, I think we went into a pretty good detail on what we think and how he might be in a position where he's going to have to play on that non-exclusive.
Or not play.
They're going
to see how dug in he really is. They're going to see how dug in.
They're going to test. Yeah, they're going to test.
And it's the whole league versus Lamar. You think I'm bullshit? It's the whole league versus Lamar. It's the future of contracts in the NFL versus Lamar. Hey, Lamar is crawling, not even crawling anymore, so a lot of you boys can walk next year. So Burrow, Herbert, all these guys, make sure you dig in the same way. Like, for real, because this is what they're willing to do to make sure that guaranteed contracts don't happen. They're willing to say, hey, look, and like you said, give it a year or two, people start forgetting your name.
I'm telling you.
There's a new cream of the new guys in there, and Lamar is the type. Lamar probably not going to be, yeah.
And Richardson looks like Lamar. He's on a rookie.
Yep. It looks like Lamar. He's got a country.
Could get spooky. It's really interesting.
Very interesting. And you can't tell me that those boys didn't all sit up there in the combine last week and say, no, you're dug in, right? You're dug in. We got no Deshaun Watson situation. Jimmy Haslam, y'all dug in? Okay, cool. We got no situations.
The NFLPA needs to look at that. The fifth year team pickup option scenario that the teams have over these guys. It should either be a 4-year deal or not.
Yeah, I hit free agency.
The team getting a 5th year potential option is brutal for guys.
It fucks players both ways because
Yes.
they either get you for another year or they can decline it and you're kind of fucked.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
You
because
could
if
be
you're
like,
getting if it's getting declined, you're not worth any money anyway.
Yeah.
So it's, and then correct me if I'm wrong. Essentially, they have 7 full years of control with 2 tags.
Yeah.
So you come out, you get a 4-year deal with a 5th-year team option. They could pick up that option, tag you in year 6, and tag you in year 7.
Yeah. And you're not hitting free agency till forever. It's like baseball.
You're hitting free agency like a real free agency, like 27 or 28 years
all
old.
These folks are scared of the NBA.
Yeah,
they're all scared. You dangle these non-guaranteed deals over their head and they fall in line. You start guaranteeing cash, I don't fucking want to show up. My hamstring hurts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're
true.
all scared of that situation, man. That's why Lamar doesn't have a deal. How does every team in the NFL come out before the negotiating window and tell you we're not negotiating with this man? Meanwhile, come on, man. Jimmy G is getting 24 a year. Come on, dog. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I agree with you. We laid it out.
Yeah,
Go listen to that other episode. And
he's gonna get fucked. He's getting fucked.
He's gonna have to come out.
Now we know why they didn't give him a deal earlier. They knew they could fuck him. Because to your point, they got him controlling another 2 years, worst case scenario.
Well, as we talked about, I think there's a little bit of piece where he was playing hardball, like real hardball, and he's trying to bully. Like I said, he was trying to bully the bullies, and the bullies had enough. And they was like, all right, don't worry about it.
What does Zebo say? Where I'm from, the bullies get bullied.
Where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. That's the NFL.
Yeah,
all right.
So they were like, around.
All right, we could do this if you really want to do this, I guess.
And if anybody ever wants to wonder the difference between the NBA and the NFL, you are seeing it right now. Because a player like of Lamar Jackson's stature in the NBA would have been able to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
it's a really interesting dynamic.
Stay tuned on that. I do want to talk about this Mike White deal. A little 2 years, $16 million to Miami. You don't pay $8 million for backup quarterbacks. I just saw this with Mike Glennon in Chicago. One of the worst deals in Bears history. But that makes me feel like they are worried about Tua. And this is a cheap look at a guy that started a few games for the Jets last year that played really well. Any thoughts on that? Are you worried about Tua?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I think they're sold on Tua. I think they signed.
I'm talking about his head. I'm not talking about his play.
Oh, like concussion wise, or his mental? Well,
him being susceptible to concussions going forward.
Yeah, and I think they are too. So I think that's why that's why you sign a slightly better than a backup who can play. Right? There's a lot of backups who are never going to play and just hold clipboards. Yeah. Right? Like you saw what happened when Henne got in. Shout out Henne because he fucking led them on a touchdown drive in the playoffs. Yeah. But like there's the Henne types, the Chase Daniel types who really good clipboard guys. That starter is always healthy. They're there for film. They're there for leadership. They're there for, help the coach out on the sidelines. And then you have your backups who back up guys who are hurt. And Tua's been perpetually hurt since he's been in the NFL. So it's not a matter of how many games, will Tua get through this whole season? It's how many games is he going to miss? Like, that's a real situation with him. He misses time every single year, right? So you have to have someone who can come in there and actually play, as opposed to a clipboard guy. So I think that was their move. I think that they probably felt Mike White had more upside than Brissett and some of these other guys. So, I mean, yeah, they liked him. He's familiar with the division. He's played a lot of football over the last – that's another thing. He's played a lot of football over the last 2 years, a fair amount of football over the last 2 years. So I think that they were just comfortable with that. And it's an insurance policy for a guy who you need one for. If you're comfortable that your guy is never going to get hurt, there's plenty of guys you can go around and sign, right? Again, who are clipboard holders, guys who are going to help you out in the locker room, in the film room, all that. I do believe they signed Mike White to play. Not to take Tua's job, but to play for sure. They know he's going to get hurt.
Eric Kendricks to the Chargers. Interesting. I love his game. There's a lot of movement going on here on day one, man.
A lot of folks getting paid, man, except for Lamar. When is Jalen Hurts' deal getting done?
That's a good question.
I hope he's not playing on fucking showing up in Philadelphia.
Yeah, DJ Moore should hold out low key.
Yeah, all these guys should hold out.
You trade me to a new spot? Yeah.
I told you Mahomes should hold out. Like, listen, man. I don't know what's going on over there. I see Daniel Jones is getting paid.
What's going on over here.
Yeah, this isn't right. Something's not right.
Something's not right here.
And
I need 65% of the cap.
Yeah, I need half of Kansas City.
All right, let's move over to the NBA, man. It's closing out. I talked about on the betting exchange today. We went through some teams. Right now, on DraftKings,
wait, real quick.
Yeah.
You never told me how you felt about Derek. I was interested in how you felt about Derek Carr to the Saints. We never talked about that.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I loved it. He becomes the best quarterback in the division.
Best quarterback in the division. They'll probably win the division.
Yeah, that's a great move by New Orleans.
Yeah, it was a fair deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he gets to play with the defense.
Listen, yeah, he gets to play with the defense, which he's never ever done in his career.
Ever. Yeah.
You can't understate how much it's worth for a team to know they're getting a quarterback with upstanding character. I think that's the best way I can put it. If you know you're getting an upstanding guy,
which Derek Carr absolutely is,
who is average,
upstanding to the point where he's corny, but whatever.
Upstanding to the point where like he won't. You're not worried about him saying anything bad in the media. He'll be a good guy in the community. He's a good locker room guy, and he's solid. Those are the type of deals you're gonna get. Like that's like I can't understate that.
He'll be rich.
30% of that deal is because he's a good guy.
Yeah,
like he's a good leader.
Yeah,
no question.
How much of that was guaranteed?
Simple as that. Like I can't understate that. So yeah, I like the move for them. He'll be really solid. I would love $100
million guaranteed. Yeah, shout out to him.
I would love to see Jameis Winston in the Bears uniform as a backup. By the way,
okay.
As much as we hate on Jameis, he hasn't made noise for a couple years. He sits in the background. He could still play ball. I would sign up Jameis Winston on a backup deal for sure. But yeah, I can't.
I'm good.
You wouldn't bring him in the locker room?
No, I think so. When we're talking about clipboard holders and study vets, I think that's what you want for.
He's a guy that wants to play. You're saying?
Yeah, he's a guy that still believes he can play, and I just think that you need a steady. I would bring in like a Brissett, honestly. Jacoby might still feel like he can play, but Brissett is like the type of guy.
Nah, but he's been a career backup. He didn't win none. He's been a career backup. He didn't win any. But he's a career backup.
Yeah, but he's great for the locker room.
He didn't win any Heismans. He didn't win any national championships. He wasn't a number one.
He also didn't throw 30 picks in a season.
He couldn't see.
Could he not see last year when he got fucking benched for? Hey
man, I feel. Hold on.
Who are they playing by the end of the year?
Let's be a little nicer.
Who did he get benched for? Who was starting for the Saints at the end of the year? Somebody got off. Yeah, Andy Dalton. Come on, now, stop it.
We can't be bogus to Jameis tore his ACL, and before that he was cooking the year before.
Mans couldn't beat out Andy Dalton.
So shout out Jameis, man. I
like Jameis, man. I hope Jameis lands on his feet.
You know what's funny? You know who's a free agent?
The Packers should sign Jameis. Who?
Chase Daniel. Bring him back.
Mr. 50 million in career earnings. What a life.
Go sign Chase. All right, let's get to the NBA, man. My fault. We a little off track here. But yes, I like the Derek Carr move for New Orleans. But yeah, man, you literally $25 million of that dollar figure guaranteed is because he's a good leader and you don't have to worry about him and he'll say the right things in front of the camera and you could put him on the poster outside of Caesars Superdome.
And he's a very rich man because of it.
And it's a lesson to be learned for guys.
My man's been from Vegas to New Orleans.
Yeah, he been going to some
he's not lacking in the nightlife.
No doubt.
Having a good time.
All right, let's go over to the NBA. So let me ask you this, Nick. On the
Mhm.
betting exchange today, go check it out, MSG Network. I'm on there every day. We were talking about the East versus the West, NBA. And who's going to win the championship? Right now, the West is plus 100. The East is minus 120 on DraftKings. How do you feel about that number? Who would you take? Who do you think could really win? I am overwhelmingly on the Eastern side.
Yeah, I would fucking actually like that number. What was it? Minus 120?
Minus 120 for the East to win the title.
I might have to sprinkle that because I think the East is going to win the title.
Yeah.
I think there's way too many questions in the West. Like if you look at the top teams in the West, so right now it's Denver, Sacramento, Memphis, Phoenix, Clippers, GSW, and then we get to the play-in teams. Each one of those teams to me has legitimate questions about their ability to make a deep run. Whereas in the East, it's almost like which one of these guys will it be? Because it's just going to be like, man, there's a lot of different guys who can see winning. In the West, it's like, who's it going to be? I don't know, man. Like I don't necessarily love any of these teams. Obviously, Denver's been the best team in the conference since day one, but Denver's an injury away from disaster with guys who get injured a lot, right? Like you're relying on between Murray, Gordon, and Porter Jr. These are three guys who tend to get banged up, right? And those are, at any given night, those are your second most important players on your team. Obviously, Jokic is great, but we've seen Jokic isn't going to carry you to the title. No fault of his own. It's not because he's a white European, but he just can't do it, right? You're not going to sit here and tell me that Sacramento is going to win the championship.
Yeah.
Memphis, absolutely not. There's way too much going on over there. Phoenix, yeah, I think the Durant thing, you got to worry about the 3 weeks that he's not playing. And it's just been a year where no matter how great he is, this dude hasn't been able to establish a rhythm at all this year, right? He was cooking a little bit towards the end of Brooklyn when they were going on that run, but then he got hurt. And it's kind of like, yeah, and now he's out again, right? So I really look at the East in there because I think the East is just the best teams right now are in the East. The top three in the East to me, yeah, are all legitimate contenders, with the top two being, I think, the two best teams in the league and have been all year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a full-blown believer in Denver being able to run through the West and then win the championship. Like,
sure.
That's a tall task for a team that was the 6th last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And now they're the 1.
Yep.
So that'd be quite the jump if they were to make a run through that Western Conference, get through Durant and the Suns, and then win the title. So I don't even think they can win the championship. I think the only team in the West that could actually win the championship is the Suns. Another bet I was looking at. I was going to ask you this next, but I'll talk about the West. The Warriors are plus 175 to participate in the play-in.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to go far somewhere. I was like, please don't.
They're only a game and a half out of that window. That 7 to 10 window. 8 of their next 14 games are on the road. They are the 3rd worst road team in the NBA. Their defense absolutely melts.
Their offense is terrible too. They're 14 points worse per game on the road.
It's like insane.
It's 14 points worse per game on the road. Yeah.
So a majority of their games are on the road the rest of the way. They're only a game up. I can for sure see them dropping a couple slots into that 8 position with the Lakers being on the way. Utah worries me. They've been out without Clarkson. They haven't had the young bull Sexton. They're not playing tonight either. They might fall off as well. Oklahoma City without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they might pack it up. Try to get to next year healthy. They are starting. They are starting to fall out of that top 10 slot. So I would still take a peek at that. I think plus 175 is too big of a number. Minnesota's playing well. The Pelicans should hang around there as well. So
what a fall from grace for the Pelicans, by the way. At one point in time,
they lost their best guy.
Nah, they've been lost. Zion.
Man. No, they lost their best. Come on,
Bi is back. They had to go through all last year without Zion. They were a solid team. I mean, they got in via play-in, but yeah, I think that still that team should be better.
Yeah,
I really do.
I can't argue that they should be better, but
it's
tough when you lose Zion.
All those teams that you mentioned me under Golden State really do worry me. Like, if I had to bet on one of those teams not sucking, it would be the Warriors throughout the end of the season, no matter how bad they are on the road. Because, again, you just named some of the most inconsistent ball clubs in the NBA, as far as Dallas, who couldn't defend me at this point. The Timberwolves, who you don't know what you're going to get on any night. You just said they dropped 76 in the first half.
But, Dallas is still in there, too.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Dallas.
Okay, so Minnesota, Dallas are one game behind that 6th slot that the Warriors hold on to. I would take Minnesota or Dallas swooping in and grabbing that 6 before Golden State holds on. Nick, they're 7.
I think the Lakers are probably the biggest threat.
They're 7-26 on the road.
They're awful.
The Pistons are 7-26 on the road.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. And then 8 of the last 14 are on the road. I just think plus 175 is a good number.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, it's solid. Yeah,
if you're looking for the rest of the way, because I could definitely see Dallas and Minnesota continuing to play ball. The Lakers are gonna come up and clip the Utah or Oklahoma City. But yeah, what if LeBron? What if LeBron comes back and they rattle off 10 of their last 13?
Well, then their additions that they've made have been solid. Right. Those guys are playing well for them. Yeah, and it seems to look better with LeBron there. No, you're right. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, the number's solid. I like it. Good number.
Take a look at that.
Dare I say it's good value? That's
a little inside joke. We don't have enough time to go into that right now. But let me ask you this last question before we get out of here. Honestly, truly, because we've seen Boston look suspect. We haven't really seen Milwaukee look. We haven't really seen Milwaukee look suspect for a while now with everybody back. They've been cruising. Can the Philadelphia 76ers honestly win the East?
Yes. I do believe so. I believe that Philadelphia could beat Boston in the series.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do. I don't think Philadelphia could beat I think they'd have a lot of trouble with Milwaukee. I think the Giannis that you're going to see in the playoffs.
I think they're the best team in the NBA.
Different. Yes, and they have the best player in the NBA, head and shoulders. I think Giannis is, at this point, by far the best player in the NBA. I think he's by far the best player in the NBA. I don't even Milwaukee shouldn't be this good. I don't think, and you want to start talking about and I'm not going to have the MVP conversation, but if you took Giannis off of this team is fucking trash. He carries those boys, so without a doubt. And they can still win without him. So he's going to come back. He's going to be good. Yes, I think that Milwaukee's the best team in the NBA for sure because they have the best player, and that best player is so much better than anybody else. And we have seen him go off. Remember when Giannis unlocked at the finals here when he actually realized, like, oh, shit, nobody can guard me.
That 50 ball to close him out was something
he literally said, nobody can guard me.
Yeah,
actually, I just realized it. No one can guard me. I can do whatever. If I stop shooting threes and stop settling, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, special.
You can count down the line all you want to. You can do all that all you want to. Nobody can guard me. So, yeah, I think that can happen. I can 100% see Philadelphia.
Well, and
when Philadelphia's playing well, when Maxey and them are balling, Maxey and Harden, Tobias Harris,
Harden's giving up the rock. Harden's giving up the rock now. He leads the league in assists. Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. I know Doc is a big question mark. I know that. I get that. But, man, I think they got a real shot to
But it's the same thing with the Sixers every year. It's the same questions. It's like, will this guy show up? Can this guy show up?
Yeah.
Like, you need Tobias Harris to be a ball player, and we've seen in big moments Tobias Harris.
Oh, well, then. We can go ahead and pack it up then.
I know how you feel about it.
If we lean in on Tobias Harris, then actually, you know what? Scratch everything we just said.
So I think I know what you got Maxey. Yeah, those guys, there's some solid players over there. Shout out my man's Niang.
Yeah, Niang can shoot it. It's an interesting thing.
You know how I feel about Niang.
I think this summer I'm gonna go full tilt Dame to Milwaukee campaign.
I would love it.
Wow. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get Dame to Milwaukee, bro.
Man.
That's where he needs to go.
For what, though?
I don't know. Whatever.
You think out of loyalty, Dan can go out and be like, guys, just fucking take whatever from me, get me out of here. I've done enough.
Damn.
Take a second rounder, just get me the fuck out of here.
Get to Milwaukee, bro.
Yeah. Dog, could you imagine Lillard with Giannis?
I mean, it'd be a match made in
heaven.
It'd
be disgusting.
Match made in heaven. Get him to Milwaukee. I need Dame Lillard in Milwaukee.
Why not get Giannis to Portland, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with that. Get him out the East.
Get him out the East.
He's not going.
But he can dominate the East. Yeah, he's not going.
He's the guy. He's not going anywhere.
You don't think he's going anywhere?
No, he got the title, man. I don't think he's going anywhere. He got 50 bank accounts. He's not going.
I don't know. He got 50 bank accounts.
He not closing all the accounts and leaving. No, he's not doing that. They got
to close accounts. I can't see.
You gonna have to go to Milwaukee.
Going, dude. That shit was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. I think. Well, I only thing I'll push back on that is if they don't this offseason, regardless of what happens, I don't care if they win the title or not. You have to retool and get some younger guys in there. You can't keep dragging. You're not going to get this year from Brook Lopez again.
Yeah, facts. I agree. You're taking Giannis for granted, low key.
You are. Yeah.
I've been saying that. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, man. Tell a homie to tell a friend. Big news coming. Shout out Ryan Poles doing his thing, man. Warren, Big Ten tourney's over. He's now over there at Hallis Hall doing his thing with Poles. I'm excited to see what the next play for the Chicago Bears is. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe. Tell the homie to tell a friend. We'll see y'all next time.